Alright, little update on the flip-up headlight conversion. I was able to get the rad support all finished. What I ended up doing, I explained in the last video that I had these tabs and I made a bar that went all the way across. Well, what I ended up doing, welding onto the bottom of it another little piece of tubing, and then had this guy go across all the way and connect to the other side and just cut the ends off, and that now allows me to fit the rad very nicely. What I ended up finding out was the original rad to the sedan was too big to fit. I wouldn't have enough clearance for the headlight motors, so I went out to the original car that the flip-up headlights came off of. It's just outside. Measured its rad, and its rad is about, I don't know, it's a ½ an inch smaller in every dimension. I can't really put it in right now because I still have those tabs there, but it fits with like a millimeter of clearance, a little bit more than that on either side, and I can use the stock rad stays that just slip into place nicely like that. And with the rad in, they sit right about here. So I'll need to make a spacer, use a spacer, I guess. I could just use a nut or something. But they sit like right about here. Maybe right about there. So I might have to mod this bracket. I might just elongate that hole and just drill a hole through the bar and have it sit there nice. I made these little braces to go down, so it pretty much makes the whole rad support a whole lot stronger than it was stock. That's pretty much all I did there. That's different from the last video. I explained putting the brackets in these places. There's the light here. This place is always a mess, but that's how I like to work. Got the light on. You can see I've got those brackets tacked in place on both sides. I still want to, I need to take the headlights out to fully weld them, but I haven't wanted to take the headlights out yet because I'm still playing around with dimensions and stuff. I guess in the last video I explained that I was going to use these corner lights, the original ones, to the sedan. See, I've probably confused a lot of people mixing up my words, saying I've said the original car, but do I mean this car or do I mean the car that the flip-up headlights came off of? Anyway, I guess for clarity's sake, this is the sedan. The flip-up headlight car was a coupe and an SR5 model. So from now on, I'll probably call this the sedan, and the car that the flip-up headlights came off of, the SR5, just for clarity's sake. Anywho, I was going to use the sedan corner lights, but I have two of these flip-up headlight cars. I have a GTS and an SR5, so I have a bunch of parts lying around. So I took the old fender, I cut up the fenders that I had off the SR5, and they're pretty much cut up to the point of not being usable. I found the original fenders off the GTS I had already taken off and threw in the trunk, so I grabbed those, and what I've done is I'm gonna use, I guess I was gonna use the corner light off the sedan. I'm now gonna use the corner light that came off the flip-up headlight cars. It just makes things easier. They already have all the mounting tabs and everything on the fender. It's gonna make things go way easier, and all I have to do now is graft one fender to another fender. It's something I've done before. It's easy. The only difference is this has a bit of a square body line to it, while the sedan doesn't. I might have to get creative there on how I blend that in. Bondo's your best friend there, sort of thing. Anywho, and yeah, basically I did that on both sides. So the fenders are pretty much ready to go, ready to be grafted together. I'm still working on this side for alignment issues and stuff. Now, what I did on the hood is kind of neat. You can see I cut the inner structure of the sedan's original hood. And what I had originally done was sectioned the SR5's hood into 3 separate sections, because what I had originally done was mod the original rad support that was on the sedan, and that had the headlights in about an inch, maybe 2 inches closer than they are now, and I wasn't able to use the stock hood. Sectioning it was the idea. After fiddling around and making this new rad support, I found out that the stock dimensions are the same, or I got pretty close to the stock dimensions. So I grabbed the spare hood that I had that was on the GTS, cut it in half, and then cut the skin off the top of it. Afterwards, I came over to the sedan. I cut the inner structure out of its hood and most of the inner structure out of the GTS's hood, and I've slipped the sedan's hood in between the inner structure of the GTS hood and its outer skin. I was, from there, while it was sort of loose, I got everything lined up against the headlights. I was able to elongate the bolt holes and sort of be able to move the headlight in any direction I wanted. So I was able to get it lined up with the fender and the hood pretty bang on. The only problem was it lines up with the 2 hoods line up right here. My big issue was, for some odd reason, they weren't lining up here. Now I had to basically just, it was, the edge of the GTS hood was probably about 1/2 centimeter or so not lining up with the sedan hood. I'm sorry with my word choice, but you're gonna have to deal with it. Anywho, all I had to basically do was just pull this back, tack it in that spot, and now I've got a gap, but the lines, the body lines are lining up, which is all I really care about. I can fill that shit in later. I've got it tacked in the corners there just so it won't move, and from there I'll have to do a little more adjusting of the fender, but I can pretty much get a decent uniform gap and have it not look terrible. Now, the only issue I have with welding the hood right now is it's a little hard to see, but we got a bit of, well, I guess it's not that hard to see. There's a big space right there. Now, I do have some welding magnets, but they're not strong enough. Now, my buddy, who owns the RAV4, that I haven't talked about before, but we'll get into that, he likes to go magnet fishing. So he has this. I believe it's an 11,000 pound force magnet. Anyway, I guess it depends on what the material you're using and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, basically, it's a huge magnet. And what it helps me do, I can bring it to the edge of the hood. It's a little bit hard to see. I don't really want to get too involved here. Basically, I can pull that up and completely eliminate that gap, tack it in the spots that are good. You can see the edge is a little bit wavy, so I'll have to come in and make it not ugly. But basically, I'll be able to pull the magnet along, bringing it up and adjusting the gaps and everything and all that stuff. So that's pretty much where I am with the flip-up conversion so far. Tedious bit is going to be getting those welds to not be disgusting, but I'm feeling confident about it. It's not my first time I've done something like this. I've had a few other adventures that I might get into. Anyway, it's really not taking as long as I thought it would. It's it's been quite the experience so far. Anyway, I'll be sure to update the channel, and anyone who sees this, I thank you for your support, and hopefully this grows into something.